but now it's time for match number 11. We've got so many more to go. Second to last game of the day. We're headed to Miramar.
Yeah, no longer are the days of Lazarus losing 1, 2, 3 players in the early game and forced to crawl it out into a disappointing 7th place end to the round, which is what we saw time and time again on phase 2. They're maintaining a position as 4. They're either rotating into a strong compound to hold sightlines on everyone else, or at least roaming as a pack together. They've really tightened up their game, and it's only going to get better because Luke is a new addition. He's been only in the States for a couple of weeks, and with Gunnar at the helm as their new coach as well, I'm really excited to see what these guys can bring out.
Easy playing path, well, moderately easy playing path. Anyways, we're going from east all the way up north past Pozo. Space Station Gaming heading there. We've got Lazarus and Sonics on their descent. Lazarus headed straight north. They're got a lot of space between them and the closest team, which is Ghost. And Sonics look like they'll be landing around the power grid area, my favorite spot on this map. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, go drop there if you want to contest, Moses.
I'll see you at power grid, homie.
He'll wreck you. Don't even try.
It depends.
Okay. He'll
Miramar Lute and me, we have a tenuous relationship. You know. So we'll see what happens with the circle. And wow, we're heading all the way south and around Leonis. So it looks like Envy and E United again feeling good. I don't know. E United has been saying their prayers to the circle gods.
Yeah, this is very, very strong for them. But anyone else in that south side, either in Los Leones or just southeast of it, Tempo Storm as well, I don't want to count them out. This area of the map, it's not as rocky and mountainy as what's west on the southwest side, just above Valdemar, but it's still an interesting position. It's not as open fields as everywhere else. There are field aspects of this part of the map, but there are still enough like rocks and things to hide behind. I don't think we're gonna have as much open area, open sight lines as we saw from the earlier Miramar game today.
Lazarus on the bus, looking for a place to go as they're just making their way to their loot spot around Hacienda. And now I wonder if you're a wild card, do you want to go for that wide east rotation? If you want to go wide west, come all the way through the bottom, the low Val Del Mar area, as we've seen Tempo use when they need to get around the spot. Low key, have not been seeing a ton of action out of them so far, but they find themselves all the way south, and that's kind of a nice spot to play if the circle does keep going that direction. Better than trying to fight or hang around Leonis, where Pride and the rest of Envy are currently located, as United and Sonic get looted up.
I like this by Taylor J. It's what Taylor J does on Sanhok, which is he goes immediately aggressive to try and find that position. I didn't expect to, but I wouldn't have been surprised if that was a Sanhok only play. But no, he is going immediately on Miramar, trying to find a center position to hold and keep everyone else away of, because he is almost dead center right now. He could also just be looting up though. They have a little bit of a spread southwest of Los Leones, and they're flexing a little more towards that direction because of this circle. A lot of scattered compounds for them to loot up from, but Zenith are also arriving as well. Actually, you can see them caravanning right in between Balefrost and the rest of E United. Not an angle immediately for Balefrost to try and punish this with the Mini 14, but he's going to try and see if he can't catch something. Also getting into his own buggy to move, because now that the pressure is arriving, the other team's arriving just under 4 minutes. I think the play is to group up as a squad now and try and defend your position.
United and Player One Esports kind of tangled up around that South Leonis area, but mostly just moving around. You know, Cam, I kind of like to see the flare gun come to competitive.
Yeah?
I want to see some BRDMs rolling around out there. I don't know if we can handle it.
The little silent killer.
Dude, the BRDM is just, it was more fun when it came out, but
sure.
Definitely rolling around with no wheel sounds. That's going to be a good time. Stab, he's making sound. He's got the Murado. He's got the attention of Player One Esports. He's going to do a nice job using the terrain, not taking a lick of damage. He's going to move right past. As Sharu is going to turn and fire and get a couple of shots landed. As Dietrich is getting aggressive with his re-peaks on Sharu, who's already got Lamp-a-Lot down. Likely not going to be able to punish that, but at least they'll pop a helmet just for a while and entertain themselves in the early goings here on Miramar.
Yeah, it at least keeps Player One humble. It keeps them honest on it. And says, hey guys, you can't just push us around. You may have the high ground. You may have some hard cover from the outskirts of Los Leones, but we are going to hold our ground. We're going to stay strong in this engagement. Fignolo, you can see on the minimap, taking some shots onto, I believe that's the arriving Zenith. Pax as well, holding just across from him. As low-key as what you said, been fairly quiet the first couple of games, or even just throughout this entire first week. Going to try and hold a position and establish themselves in this game.
Player One Esports has been running their amateur league, so if you're interested in getting into PUBG Esports and trying to figure out how you can practice for the open qualifiers, try and find your way into contenders, and then if you're really lucky, all the way up to NPL, that's the place to try it out. Now it's going to be Envy coming towards Low-Key. Low-Key needs a good team fight here. Looks like Pride's going to take some pressure from behind. That's United and Taylor J firing away, but now Low-Key's got their work cut out for them as all of Envy has arrived in the 2-2. They've got a bit of a surround. We'll see if Low-Key can defend.
It was some good initial damage by Low-Key, but they didn't get a single knock on the Envy. Interrogate was able to heal up, and now you can see Lobes trying to readjust himself. Moody, though, taking a bit of damage, is able to hide below this. But look, Taylor J, he hears this, and he wants to go aggressive. They want to third-party this. They understand how close danger is to their doorstep, and they're going to try and loosen it up and deal damage to anyone that they can before the game gets too late. I say that, he's actually going to back off.
Yeah, Taylor J, I think, would probably be wise not to move up too far there. I know United is feeling real confident, and there's no one more confident in this room than Taylor J, as he's looking to see if he can find an angle here, but there's not been really anything kicking off between these two squads. Hard to third party when the party hasn't started.
Everyone is just
party pun there for you.
I enjoyed it. It was nice. Everyone is trying to go south of Los Leones, though. Everyone's trying to hit this southern hemisphere of the circle because of how risky it is to play around Los Leones and north of it because of the wide open fields. Mystery, though, they have an angle. This is a fourth party in this engagement onto Envy. Envy need to find some sort of solidification in their hold.
They're solidly in their hole right now, Cameron, as I don't think there's anything they can really do. They're getting a lot of pressure from their United side, with even Riot Squad now looking their way. So Low-Key has not decided to move too far, and now it's going to be a house-to-house fight as Taro and Pride gain entry around Lobes, who's just holding onto the grenade, little hot potato. They have to let go of it eventually. There goes nice nade. Actually, it's going to be David taking down Taro with maybe the grenade helping a little bit. Stab's going to take down Pride and finish him off. And now Envy's got to be feeling unhappy, as now it's only Pat Caps. Another quick flush from Lobes, and they're going to step out. They've been watching the kill feed. They got to know maybe there's only 1 or 2 left.
Oof. Yeah, the Envy arrived hot into this compound, but then they stalled out, and that gave all these close teams like an opportunity to position themselves to third party this, and you can see that they're just torn apart. Low-Key also wrapped down and below them to sandwich them in, and now it's just one Envy player remaining. I don't think it's going to be easy for him to survive. Pat Caps, he is away from this compound, and he is on a little bit of an off angle, but he is still by himself, squashed between multiple different squads. He doesn't have a lot of freedom to move or really do anything for the remainder of this game.
Seems to happen a lot with Envy, where they seem to know where they want to go, but not what they want to do when they get there. And honestly, it's not really a critique. It's just you see Tempo do some similar things, but even sometimes when their plan isn't going well, they kind of execute it as best they can, even if that means taking 1 or 2 players with them. But for Envy, they crashed here. They knew they found out it was occupied and then froze. They didn't really make an attempt to. And obviously, with all the pressure coming from United, I would have liked to have seen them try and put some utility down, maybe try and get some smokes around to cloud what their movements might be, make an attempt on Low-Key, but just never got it going, and it looks like it's going to be Pat Caps riding this one out solo.
Very rarely are you able to find yourself, especially in the early game, in an isolated fight.
Yeah.
So when danger comes to your doorstep or you come to its, you need to take it fast or you get punished. And that's what happened to Team Envy. The circle is in the process of closing. We got 5 seconds left before we see where phase 2 is going to go. Most everyone is inside this circle, and it's going to swing hard southwest. This is really strong for the majority of teams. Other than the teams that are just now arriving, no one else is going to have to move. But those teams, Lazarus, Ghost, Vanquish, Wildcard, where can they really go if not just Los Leones?
You know, I got to say, it looked like everyone in the circle knew exactly what was going to happen, because that thing circled up and everyone was already where they should be, as it basically encompassed everyone who was in that southwestern side. People who haven't made it yet: Ghost Gaming, Lazarus, and Wildcard, along with Vanquish. And it's going to make that northwestern side, that northeastern side rather, a bit of an interesting situation, as you can't really go through Leonis. It's too far to go all the way west. So I think that long southern rotation is where we're going to see some action.
Yeah, we've already seen some action on the minimap between Endemic and Riot Squad. Wolf and Relo both getting kills for themselves. Lada's trying to rotate away, trying to stay on the southern side, and he's got his remaining teammate in the back of his vehicle, I believe, as well. And so they are going to get out of there, but still 2 casualties against them is not a good start to this round.
Waiting now to see if there's anyone left behind. Endemic picking up a couple of kills. They've been doing well to get those mid-game kills, something that wasn't really apparent for them in the last phase. And Endemic has been having a good start so far. With 2 kills in the beginning of the game, they're now looking to solidify their little hold. They have a relatively center position on the south side.
But look at that. You can just barely see the TS from Tempo Storm sneaking on the mini-map just to the east. They don't want to be so focused in on Riot Squad that they ignore a potential high ground peak from Tempo Storm, but it looks like a call was made, or at least just trying to watch for the information. Something spotted out, has to fall away.
And it's so difficult. You know, when you play public games, you see a player out in the open. Normally you're thinking, well, this player isn't very good. But in this situation, if you see someone hanging out in the open, it might be Sharky. And he's going to take down Reload, and he's going to finish him off. Now it's going to be Genesis. They've been having a great time in team fights. They've got Player One Esports at the doorstep. It looks like they have everyone online for this. And it's going to be complicated. Nerf is going to open things up with Lampalot going down to the grenade. Aguila standing out, gets immediately forced back behind the dumpster. And if he's not careful, he's going to find himself inside. More nades coming out from Genesis.
Lots of nade damage here in close range, just trying to flush out these Player One players from outside those bunkers. More nades going to come through. This could easily finish D-Treats. It gets them quite low. And K-Mine wrapping around the western side, going to be trying to find an angle onto David, able to finish the downed player, and can't see that other standing player of Player One in the smoke.
He knows he's there. He's looking at the smoke, and Aguila, again, the dumpster central to the strategy, hanging out in the smoke. He can hear footsteps, maybe H-Wind giving him some information. Nerf's getting closer and closer. This is the X-ray view. Nerf can't see a damn thing. Oh, maybe he sees Aguila. He can hear Aguila for sure. He's going to call that out, look for help. Aguila's down, David's down, Genesis easily done. And if I must say, dumpstering, Player One Esports.
Definitely a good hold, and we know exactly why Genesis are a strong threat, especially if you get them close range with all 4 still remaining. And now they have a solid hold on a relatively powerful compound close to the center of the circle. It remains to see how strong it's going to be throughout the remainder of the game. This is only phase number 2, but still 4 points, keeping 4 up, have a little bit of a loot injection is definitely good for Genesis. But Alo, wrapping it from the south, they do finally come to head with Wildcard. Penta goes down, he's gonna get finished off. And Wildcard, they're gonna have to push up to the high ground. Are they gonna stick onto this fight though, using the high ground advantage? Oh no, I don't know if that's a good idea though, because the next circle is gonna swing away from them, and they may wanna just cut their losses and head towards the zone.
No, come back, Motorcycle. No tumbling allowed. Kickstart, times it well, jumps back on. He did lose Penta. No kills yet for Wildcard, 1 for Lazarus. But now everyone's got to move. That circle has gone further to the northwest as Sonics get the benefit, as does Genesis. And once again, they've been doing their homework as they've been finding themselves in the zone. It's E United now. Shrimsy's got a line on the transitioning Wildcard. No shots yet.
I think he wanted to go for that, but wasn't able to get the jump into the windowsill, but he's able to find one on the final truck. But luckily, Adam's able to rotate away. Drassel trying to swing out to find another angle through that open field. But Kickstart and the rest of Wildcard are able to rotate away and get at least just barely inside the edge.
I
say that.
Crispier, there it is, as Pistola does go down. Wildcard's been having a hell of a transition, and why not just throw a grenade at him? As a bit of a surprising, actually, use of the grenade there. Maybe wondering if there's anyone nearby, but Crispier not taking any risks. Only one other grenade in the kit there for young Pistola or young Crispier, as we've seen such a drastic reduction in the grenade spawns. Hasn't really felt like grenades haven't been a major factor, though. They're very apparent, Cameron, in pretty much every game we've played so far.
Yeah, even if you have fewer of them to use,
you're going to use them.
You're still going to use them, and you can still find a lot of action with them. Lazarus sneaking in from the south side. They weren't able to beat Wildcard into the circle. And now they may be walking directly into Tempo Storm. They're not using their vehicles, and so one has to wonder how much information Tempo Storm has. You're going to see one of those Tempo players in the circle. In a vehicle going towards the circle.
Isolated fight, too, if it does kick off. Purdy Curdy biding his time, looking for more players. He can take this if he wants it. I know Purdy likes the shoot mans. Let's see if he decides to do it.
Waiting for the lineup. There's a lot of cover there, so if he doesn't hit some immediate, two headshots, he may not be able to get the kill, and they want to get the opening frag while they can, while they still have surprise on their side, but Civ is like north.
It's like Linus is watching Meerkats. Like, okay, there's another one. Oh, look, another one came out of the hole. Let's see whoever shows up. Sharpshot and Maluk, they're the Meerkats in this long, winding analogy, as Purdy Curdy and Civil just kind of wait. Now, I'm imagining they're wanting to make sure that everyone's accounted for before they start this team fight. And it looks like Luke might have been spotted.
Zampa swinging back, so that may very well be the case. And then, yeah, I think Lazarus are aware of this as well. They're rotating away. They don't want to take this engagement because it's not a strong spot, but they spot Zampa up on the north side.
This is like a middle school dance. Finally, someone's going to ask, do you want to come shake it to whatever happens in middle school dances these days?
What's popular now, fellow kids?
I'm very hip on the dance music, you see. As now, it really hasn't kicked off here, but there's lots of time and space for this fight to go. And Maluk's got, looks like Pretty Curdy isolated, and they're going to start doing damage. The circle going to shift once again. And we're going to head, well, relatively easy for this fight as this is now to the south, and Pretty Curdy is going to go down. And now Lazarus had their opportunity, and now already Sharpshot and the rest of Tempo have the upper hand. Alo, take the shot! Oh my God.
Why are Lazarus not taking the shot? They had their opportunity, and I understand waiting a little bit till you get fully set up, but at this point it seems quite ridiculous. It's like they're wanting to play a super pacifist game right now.
I can't call it ridiculous, but I'd love to know. I think they know where everybody is, but now it looks like Endemic has taken all this time. They've moved in from the north, and Lazarus is letting, well, not letting, but Pretty Curdy is going to bleed out. And they had so many opportunities to do damage, but for some reason, Lazarus holding back here.
Alo, oh, I don't want to shoot because I don't want them to know where I am, but guess what? You were spotted anyway. Why not deal the damage and put the pressure down? You've lost a player. You've lost Pretty Curdy. Tempo Storm still have 4 up. Okay, now he's stuck in a fight with Endemic, but this is
coming
just
apart. It's coming apart for Lazarus.
Tearing apart.
Only Luke is left. There's got to be a bigger strategy here. I mean, we do have the benefit of all this extra information, but for Lazarus, the result is going to be the same here. Is it's going to be all of them getting wiped out for free, no kills to show for it as far as I know. And now it's only Luke 12 left, south side of the zone. He's headed out to the blue, and Lazarus may be feeling a little bit frustrated here as Luke is going to have to concede this one.
Tempo Storm, they should be aware of Endemic because they heard that engagement between Alo and Endemic, and now they're pushing up themselves. Luke could be enough of a distraction to give Tempo Storm an opportunity to do some heavy damage. While I say that, there's some shots coming from long range you can see on the minimap towards Tempo Storm's position, but they're just crawling closer and closer towards this compound. It's all going to be on Crispier as the first point of contact.
Now it's going to be Tempo. They've clearly shown that they don't mind fighting anybody, and now they're going to go right towards Endemic. Endemic is going to be spotted. That's going to be Something, or Rolf rather, getting the first down from info from Something, the trade, and Something is going to do tons of damage. Great positioning here from Endemic. They've got them split up and already down, and it's going to be quickly just Zampa left. So even though Tempo did get the upper hand and 2 kills for it, looks like Endemic is going to be the victors on the southern side.
I understand not having the time with the blue closing in to not check every corner, but that was still just a very rushed and, dare I say, sloppy engagement by Tempo Storm. They didn't check for Crispier at all. They ran immediately into a crossfire that was so easily avoidable. But looking back here on Luke by Lazarus, he's forced to crawl in right behind SSG, who, once again, we find on the edge of the circle. And there is a field that they're walking into right now. It's not a dead flat field. There's a little bit of land to play around with it, but it's still not the same thing as fully controllable hilltop.
So it looks like Luke is not conceding, but he's just using the blue to his advantage, or at least the terrain that's in the blue right now. He hasn't seen SSG do it. Oh, now we've seen him. Oh boy, I know that feeling. And there's going to be Zampa going down to Vegas, and that's going to be Tempo down 15th place. So even though they did take it to Lazarus, they are not going to get too many placement points, nor kill points for that matter, as they'll go down with only a couple in the bank. Now it's going to be Ghost looking out towards the fields that you've called out, and looks like SSG, while they're not quite in vision yet, is going to be headed out that way. And now the circle getting ready to close once again, and we're into minute 19 where things get very choked up.
Not a lot of people center because of the road gives very little center ability to be played. But let's see where the next circle goes. It's going to swing more towards the north, a medium shift northwest. But again, not a lot of people in the dead center outside of Keenan from the Sonics. There's going to be a lot of extremity fights and a lot of people from the south having to push across that road. Lazarus do get eliminated by Balefrost, E-United with the warehouse. Good sightlines down the south. And it is high ground from the north towards the south, especially when you're on the south side of that road. And so even Zenith, E-United wildcard, could have a strong position, but it's Profi up to another fight against Vanquish. A nice initial spray down. Gonna back off and give the rest of his team the information and the time to reset and continue this engagement.
Genesis gonna creep up. They've already got Fozu down, and now this is gonna be more damage. Finna takes a lot of damage as well. Profi doing great work with that M4. And the 3-time spray. Tetra, we've seen him hit a lot of shots when he was playing in his previous squad, but they have not been able to get anything going against Genesis right now, as H-Win's got the high side with the Mini at the ready, or is that the SLR, excuse me. as Finna will be flushed out, actually stolen by Tony V, the long arm of the Sonics, always looking to try and steal those kills as SSG and Endemic get into it. Looks like SSG getting the upper hand there. As look, you can see it's Crispier down in the divot. Here comes the grenade. Well cooked, bounced once, a little bit high and to the right. Not going to do too much damage to Crispier. Hetror going to step up and over. Not a great day for Hetror individually, and that's going to continue as he's been caught out and surprised. Actually, not quite. It will be J-Stank going down to the blue, and the res will come from Valley 8 Baja, taking lots of damage. I believe also in the blue, as J-Stank will be stolen and Baja will go down, as SSG just too close and too far from the zone, or sorry, too close to the blue and too far from the next play zone, as Tetra and the rest of Vanquish trying to make their escape from Genesis, but Profi is just not going to allow it with the M4, and another kill stolen by Sonics. They're like raccoons out there, the Trash Pandas.
Sonics being able to steal those shots just shows how rough a position it was for Vanquish. If they weren't spotted by Genesis and they could push onto that compound that Genesis were holding, maybe they could find something in this. But then once they were spotted in the low ground, no cover, they were in a huge pickle, and it's almost impossible for them to get out of it if they didn't land those initial shots. It's just Reno left as Tiggleton is trying to give it to them. But back over here on low key, trying to take an engagement with Ghost. Gets a nice spray down.
Lots of action happening here with Ghost. We did see Shrimzy execute Drassel, as now it's going to be on to Vegas. I think McCoy's also down, so Vegas prone in the smoke. A lot of shots coming out as Adam from Wildcard trying to prevent Chubba Bubba getting into the zone. More shots coming from uphill. I believe that's Zenith. And now Vegas throwing another smoke grenade to continue the cover. And he just threw a grenade right onto Chubba Bubba. I think that might have been a smoke. Vegas is there. Chubba Bubba can't see him. He ran right past him. Chubba finally, I guess he just wanted to turn on him. But Chubba Bubba will take down Vegas. Bit of a cluster here, Cameron, on the southeastern side.
Yeah, and this just goes to show, like, this is a completely different map from Sanhok. You still have to have vehicles this far into the game because of the distance that you need to travel, but this terrain is so hard to go in a vehicle, which is why we see so many people on foot. Genesis now, that they're trying to take it to E United. They are not in the circle, but they want control of this eastern side. They're leaving 2 up north, 2 pushing down south. Nerf and Profi getting in close and personal with this warehouse. But E United, I think they know of the push that's happening.
This is going to be a marquee matchup here. Balefrost using his own dumpster. This is Genesis and E United. Not quite a 4-on-4, as it's a 2-2 split for Genesis. And the spray there from Bale is going to force Nerf off the corner. Good information, however. Balefrost does not have any cover. And this is where he's got to recognize that. Yes, indeed. He's going to back off a little bit, probably getting recalled by his teammates, as he's going to throw up a Kobe grenade, see if that can land anywhere. Maybe that comes through the roof. But Profi's going to spot Sharu. Not a ton of damage. Looking for the headshot. Can't find it. Profi's been clinical with that M4, Cameron.
Taylor J spotting out the rest of Genesis, pushing in from the north. They're backing off. They're not committing to this fight just yet. They're giving Genesis room where they have to. But Shrew, he's actually dropped by Wad Jr. from Zenith. By them falling away, they open themselves up to get third party from the center of the circle. But Genesis, they still have to fall away from the blue. It's pushing in onto them, and they got to cross the exact same area that E United are.
They're going to prioritize kills here, as coming out into this open field for Genesis is going to be quite difficult, and E United has already got the headway. They're making their way to the zone. There's Taylor. He's in the smoke. Oh, but not far enough. H-Win will find him and finish him. And that's another point for Genesis. Patron will go down to Rumblers. And again, Tiggleton, they're doing lots of damage at distance, but their kills are getting stolen now. That's a bit of a return, as they've been stealing kills all around. Genesis 6 kills.
Genesis has found a way to get into this edge of the circle with cover from the south side. They have a ridge to work with, and Rolf, the only remaining player from Zenith Esports, trying to make something of it. They already have 5 kills, and in 7 teams remaining, that's a minimum of 7th place.
Oh my God.
Now 6th place, because what a spray down onto Protege.
Disgusting spray from Profi at distance with the 3-time scope. Profi absolutely mastering this round, and he's putting his skill on display.
Watch the Rumblers, though. They're swinging in from the south side. They hear the engagement happening, and Rumblers actually are able to make it to the end game with 4 up. That's something that we haven't seen too much so far this weekend.
Shots coming from Sonics. Genesis have Stab and Roth at their doorstep. Solo players, so 6 teams up, but we're very close to 4 teams alive. As actually Reno, another solo player on the northern side. It's mostly the game comprised of Rumblers, Sonics, and Genesis, and the Sonics continue to get the circle luck, as Vanquish will go down. Another kill going to K-Mind.
Genesis, their position isn't very strong, but their team fight is clinical. They are taking it to every single team that they come across, and they are picking up kill after kill after kill. Already 9 in their pocket, and so many more available for them to take. They still have to push their way into the circle, and you can see right in front of them, there is not very much cover for them to utilize. Sonics on the other side, they have a compound. It is on the edge, but it is hard cover, and you can see them throwing shots towards Genesis like a turret from the building.
Those damn turrets, I tell you always trip over them when you least expect it. Now you can see the smoke line coming out. They want the shack, but the shack is barely in, but it's cover. That's all they can really ask for at this stage. The Rumblers on the low side, they do have a bit of a line of sight, and Genesis is going to have to make this run. A lot of attention coming from Sonics. Rumblers are also, oh my god, look at all those shots.
Lines, look at those lasers on the mini-map.
We're looking at the map, and yes, indeed, it's all eyes on Genesis. They've got the smoke line down. Quick med starting here for both K-Mind and Win. It looks like they're going to make it to hard cover and survive just a little bit longer. As the Rumblers, they're going to have one down. Los HD as going for the res. That's Waldo, who needs to be rezzed, and now the Sonics just need to chill, and so do Genesis. Now, I think this is going to be the next Cameron, or the next circle Cameron, dictating what happens, but here's Stab. He's getting closer to Roth, the other solo player.
Already 8 kills for United. Even though Stab is the only one remaining, it's still a solid round for them. And Microfy spots out Roth and spots out United. Spots out Stab. Sending shots their way, can't really connect them, but it still puts pressure. Still makes it a very dangerous run for them. I don't think they're going to be a lot of safety ahead of them. Roth and Stab, I mean. But Rumblers, I was worried for them. They kind of were scattered around on the south side, but they've been able to crawl their way into the circle with taking very, very minimal damage.
They like to roam, but sometimes the Rumblers get punished when they do so by solo players, but it looks like they've got a pretty good idea as to where Stab is, and it's going to be Micro picking him up. Now
Right before he tripped over Roth.
Yeah, Roth is there as well. Is it Roth?
Is it Roth or Roth? Yeah, I'm going back and forth.
I just go by Roth.
We need to ask him.
You say it differently every time you say it, so you're confusing me.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself with it.
It's all good, Doc. So we got now Sonics. They're losing their compound, kinda. They have a couple of buildings left there, some hard cover to work around. It's been a blessed round for Sonics here. Now the Rumblers making their way into the zone. Let's listen in on Genesis. They've got their work cut out for them.
Guys, suppress top right,
Where did I run from? I have no idea.
Wait 2 seconds and I can cover again.
Yeah.
Wait 2 seconds and I can cover again.
Can you
Ready?
cover?
Okay, go, go, go.
I got headshot, I got prone.
I got headshot, I got prone.
I'm healing.
No,
Prone your way in, prone your
I'll
way
go,
in.
Here, I dropped one.
Prone and LOS them. Guys, you're doing the same thing Profi just did. You're proning once you get to...
Run, just zigzag, bro.
Okay, ready? Cover us? Ready?
We can't cover.
I'll try. You ready?
I'll tell you... No, Profi, you don't have to cover. I'll cover. Stay prone, Profi.
There's a guy peeking the right side ridge.
I'm covering now. Start. Go now.
Okay, ready?
Okay, go.
Go.
Make sure you prone.
Said I wasn't ready.
Make sure you prone once you get close.
Okay. So cover, I'm doing it.
One castle lit by a tractor left side.
Yeah, got it.
Outside of castle, far left side.
Zen is still alive.
That's pro PUBG.
It doesn't matter. We don't care about them. They're gonna
Make sure you prone.
One's left side.
And that's
all the
why.
way.
Aim at
Is that a
castle.
guy at
Let's
the
hurt them.
rock? Is that a guy at the rock?
They're left. They're far left. Oh, they're on my marker.
Can we form and
exactly.
peek this in
Yeah.
3? I'm peeking.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Peeking, peek
Go,
right.
go, go.
Picking right.
Don't get knocked though.
Helmets.
I have no helmet.
Hey, this team is weak in compound. They're weak. One's outside
the
on the
wheel.
left. He has a good angle on me.
Can I get a booster from one of you?
Hey, ready? Peek again.
I got knocked.
I'll go for the reds. I don't have a helmet. Yeah, I'll go for the reds.
Watch
I'll
out,
go
the
for
left
reds.
has
He's
kind of
left.
an angle on
Left
us,
guy got
guys.
me. Left guy got me.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, baby. You need the first aid?
Yeah, I have nothing. I have no
Zen
meds
just
left
died.
in
Zen behind me.
Yeah. Rumblers and Sonics, let them
my
fight.
Guys,
let them
it's
fight.
us, Rumblers, and Sonics. Just we
Yeah.
need to stay alive right now and hope they fight each other. I have no meds, Profi.
Well, we don't have start. Do we have smokes?
Drop me bandages? Oh, you have no meds?
I have nothing.
Hey,
I literally have nothing.
Booster, maybe?
No
I've got not a
smokes, no
single
smokes. Reset, listen to me. We need to 4-man peek this guy on the right. We need to 4-man peek green.
Do you have
Okay.
meds for me or no? Anyone?
Yeah, I got a first aid.
You guys
I got a first
listen to
aid.
me? Okay, 4-man peek the guy on green.
All
Ready?
right. All right, 3
Come
seconds.
right. We need to come right in the circle.
3
I'm
seconds.
peeking. I'm
Right?
peeking.
Let's push right and push right side.
Peek this. Peek this is 4. Peek this is 4.
I got knocked again. Don't rest. Don't rest.
I got two.
You can. Slow down. I got knocked. Slow down. We have time.
Sonic
Okay,
pushing
you
towards us
need to give H in the first
Listen,
aid.
fuck,
we're all
that
gonna push
sucks,
right
that
side in a second.
Yeah, we can. We can.
I have no
You
choice.
shouldn't have gotten
I'll
knocked.
cover.
That's fine.
The left is pushing us. The left is pushing us.
No, they can't. We have to. We
Come
need
to
to
me
kill
there.
compound.
There, he's speaking right side.
Hold left side, I'm resing.
You need to. Oh, okay. We
He's
have
hit.
no fucking
He's hit.
helmets.
Healing.
I hit that guy, Tony.
I might not heal. I might just.
Rest me. Profi rest. Nerf, do you have any meds?
I think this is
This
cyberbullying.
one.
I think we prone.
We need to peek this right guy.
No, we need to kill the guy that's shooting us. Tony V keeps knocking me. We need to kill him.
Okay.
And we need to run right away. This blue's gonna be on my back. I'm gonna run bait knee. I'm gonna run.
Run
bait knee.
left, run left, run left.
Where's that fucking gun? Alright.
I'm not.
I'm knock.
Oh, they're all to the left. They're all to the left. Watch out.
Go right,
In the open
right.
on the right. They're running right in the open.
Oh fuck, they're pushing left. Just go straight in circle. Go straight in circle.
Get kills. They're
Your
fighting
last
right
one,
now.
your last one, your last one. Okay, your last one.
Still game mine up.
Yeah,
Nice try, nice
they were
try.
waiting for me. That's
We had
fine.
no fucking
Hey, good game.
utility.
That's it's a hard game.
Nice try there from Genesis. Just did not have the position. Now we're headed towards Rumblers and Sonics. Tony V's down. Rumblers have been battered. They've got a bunch of prone players in the front, and looks like Tiggleton is going to find Cherry. And this is going to be now the Rumblers on the ropes. Micro Fry, I think the last man standing, and he's going to try his absolute best. No cover to work with. And Sonics are swarming, pushing the action. And this is looking like Rumblers are going to be in trouble. And yes, indeed, Sonics will take a 7-kill victory. They used the advantage when they had it, Cam.
Yeah, 7 kills. We've seen much more yesterday and today, but still they played the game that was given to them, and they were able to get yet another win for themselves. A good round from Genesis, picked up a fair number of kills, but taking fight after fight diminishes your resources. You could hear in the listen-in constantly, H-Win and I believe Profi was saying that, oh, I don't have meds, I need meds from someone. And that's what happens when you take fight after fight, but they got so many kill points off of it, and a 3rd place position is nothing to look down on.
Absolutely. And the real question is anyone listening to Nerf as